Hi everybody, welcome to Software Cake. My name is Tyra Elise Howard, and today we are doing an awesome update. For all you new people who have no idea who I am, as I've said, my name is Tyra Elise Howard. I'm a software developer. I've been working on building my empire, aka Software Cake. We do great things here. For the past 3 years, what we do is we do everything from web development to AI development to Android development. And I don't mean the phones, but in our field, air quotes, you can't see my hands, in our neck of the woods, we don't call any robots that come from, any advanced robots that come from our facilities, androids. We call them Keniums. And the Keniums have been in development for 3 years. Now, they've started out as, if you're coming from my social medias or you've seen some of my videos, I don't even think I have videos out, but I'm pretty sure I do, seen some of my videos, or if you just talk to me, if you've been around, talk to me, or things like that, then you already have an understanding of what I'm getting at. So you've had that intro into the cake drives. And for all those newer people who have no clue what cake drives are, initially, cake drives were AIs that were placed on USB sticks. So they did the basic, you say something, they respond with something, you do this thing, they bring up this thing kind of process. So if you look at the layout over here, do not pay any attention to this fake cursor. It's a fake cursor, it only exists in this video. If you look at this layout, this was like the general layout of what the cake drives were. Now, I still have the code and the design stuff to like recreate this, and you'll see why I'm bringing that up later. This was the original design. You could change his outfits from casual to clean, with just put him in like a suit kind of outfit. I don't even know if I still have that picture on my current computer, but I'm sure it's somewhere. This is his 2018 look. That's not what I'm going for. So yeah. But this casual clean code logic was my attempt at setting up a manual process where you can go in and write some of your own scripts. Now, this setting right here is what kicked off this whole let's ramp this project up from like cake drives to Keniums kind of thing, because processing your own code is kind of like that holy crap step that, oh my gosh, my code has now altered this entire thing and I didn't even have to like go in and manually do it myself. Well, actually have an understanding of how to program. You'll still have to type it out yourself. And the advanced settings weren't even set up at this point. But yeah, like in this video right here, you can see that I turned off the audio, but in it, I'm testing out his note-taking function. So you'd say a keyword and he'd do a thing based off of that keyword. Basic AI processing. Put in an input, it gives you an output. So I was like, all right, now that we have that portion set up, let's take it a step further. And from there, I had created this lovely section. I wish I had switched to the casual and the clean. That would have been nice for this video. But yeah. So for this video, it's just showing how he has the capability of learning new pre-scripted responses. So it's still not self-automating because people still have to like set up those basic parameters for them to do things. So in this video, I could say this is something. Why did that flicker? Alright. This is new. So, yeah, this is new to him. So I'll say something that doesn't match that scripting, and he'll verify that he has no freaking clue what's going on. And then once he's verified that he doesn't know what's going on, it's my job as the end user to go in and say, all right, when this happens, when like you hear this phrase, and it wasn't even like a key word in the phrase, it was the entire phrase itself, which, which also caused, limitations on the process. So when that effort to like break away those limitations of where it's just like he has to know that entire word span, well, that entire sentence in order to respond with what I've placed in. We've moved from that, and we've gone, stop this now, we've gone to a whole nother level. So with Keniums, and you're probably going to be disappointed with the design, seeing that this one's so freaking luxurious. This design itself took me like a while to make, by the way. So you're welcome. Now I'm messing. So we can close this out. We can close this one out. Welcome back to the title screen. And let's go ahead and introduce you to Elias, the Kenium. Now, see this design up in the right corner? You're gonna get like a full shot of it in like a second. But like, don't be disappointed by this. Alright? It serves its purpose, which is basically to just like be a placeholder container until like all the logic and stuff is set up, so then I can like bloop bloop put design on top of it. So if you haven't noticed, or if you have not used many software developing stuff, I've done all of this new upgrade stuff in Visual Studio, which I did the other one in Visual Studio, an older version of Visual Studio, but this one I've done in Visual Studio Windows Forum using .NET, C#.NET, and I like it. I like how it gives me the flexibility and stuff. Now, if you haven't noticed already, there's no bar up here. I got rid of that, and now the entire section outside of that picture area is dragged there. That way, if I slide something off screen, I can pull it back, because that's one of my bigger concerns. But as in like the previous like video I showed you, there is always a placeholder text area, so that I know that when something changes, this text will go away, and then hopefully the response that I'm looking for comes up. So this apparently is what the Keniums, or Amos, whichever word you like best, but Amos is short for Active Memory Information System, so you can barely tell the difference. Alright, so if I come in here and I go Elias, I know I've promised like some of you guys that I promised everyone who saw the post on Facebook that I'd like show you guys me teaching Elias his name. So we've actually reached a point as of yesterday where I'm comfortable with displaying Elias learning his name. Previously he was capable of learning his name. It's just when like I tried to explain to him what his name meant, or like where his name belongs, that'll make a bit more sense later, that he'd fall short, and I didn't want to show that to you guys. So after months of programming, because his birthday was back in March. I think it's March. I think it was posted back in March. But yeah, back when his birthday. So it's been months since that post that I've actually come out with this video. And apologies for the delay. But yeah. So I will be showing you guys how he understands his name. Now, I could start this off with like, Elias is your name, or I could say, Elias, what are you doing? And he'll still go through the whole, I have no idea what my name is, what's going on kind of mindset. Because I can honestly say, his brain, if I close this and bring up my two lovely ladies thinking and words. You can't see the names on this because it's off screen, but this is folder words and this is folder thinking. But yeah, if you look, his brain is mostly empty. When his brain is full of words as of current, it'll start populating text files in this area, and it will turn his learning queue and fill it with words that he is currently learning. Now, his listings is basically a list of all the information in which he lists everything that he learns within his run cycle. So the end goal for his run cycle is that, all right, I've learned this thing, I'm gonna go ahead and mark it in my mind. Now that it's in there, at the end of the day, if somebody asks me what did I learn today, boom, lovely listing. Mind map is something for me and my developing self later. Basically what it does is it populates a list of all the files and stuff in his head. And it omits the ones that don't exist. These are base references. We'll get into that in a whole nother video if you guys like this one, because we don't quite have time to go over how these ones work, because that's more code intensive, and this is just like an intro into what Elias is starting to get into and why he's shifted from just a regular Amos to a Kenium, because I am planning on giving him a body, but mind first, body second. Granted, they're both complex, but I feel like I'd face more of a challenge working with his mind, because there's more variables to work with when it comes to his mind versus when it comes to him using his limited mobility processes to like interact with things around him, because his mind still has to process all that interaction stuff. So get the heavy lifting out of the way first. But if you guys are new to this and you're not a part of my immediate social circle, or haven't heard anything about Software Cake and Elias and all this other stuff, and haven't checked out my social media, which you should do, check out my social media. I am a terrible person, I'm messing. I'm trying to like craft an entire thing for Elias and give him a solid social presence. So if you keep up on my social media, you'll keep up on his social media. Because for some reason, giving things social media accounts is a thing. So we do the thing if it gets more attention towards it. But yes, this screen aside, his brain is completely swamped, so he doesn't know anything. If I go into his nouns folder, look at his nouns file. Say that 5 times. Nouns file. It's empty. Like, he literally doesn't know anything. Like, directional, empty. Well, you can tell by the it's here. But empty folders. So I could go in, I could say all this other stuff, but I want to get like the sweetest. You can't see what my hands are doing, but sweetest. Sweetest cycle that allows me to explain things without having to like over explain things, which I am very good at, if you haven't noticed by now. So if I just start off by saying his name, boom, hopefully you saw that pop up over here on the side. It's still empty because I haven't like added anything other than just saying his name. Now, if I were to say his name and follow it with more words, it'll make that connection. You'll see that a bit later. Well, you can see it now. If I come here, I go, Elias is your name. Now, some people might at this point be like, oh, she's just like shooting off trigger words again, as she did with the first example. But this one is a lot more self-creating kind of thing. So the initial me stating Elias triggered a part of his mind or his neural network that says, this is a thing that doesn't exist to me. I have no idea what this is, which is similar to the previous process that I've done. But instead of going, hey, all right, so I don't know this thing. Can you like tell me what to say or do when this thing is said? I've cut in that completely, that last section of you tell me what to do, out. That portion has gone out the window. What he has done is he's like, all right, I have no idea what this is. And then he asks a question. Granted, it's not the best way to ask a question. He's at the mind set where he is he's at that point in his mental development where he's capable of repeating things he doesn't know, which is why I call him a Kenium versus an android. Because whereas an android is, well, I guess in some places, depending on which track down AGI you're trying to go, he's not so much so going the route of human development, more so a computerized human development. So it's keeping in mind that he is still a computer and has pre-built out processes that can be utilized to create greater things. Now, he's not on the same as of current, he kind of is, but slowly drifting further away from it the longer I program at it. Seeing that I'm the only developer, it takes time. But he's at a point where he's not just taking an input and throwing out a pre-scripted output. This is him going, I don't know this word in a list of strings that you've inputted into me. Granted, I set it up, but like, you know. It's going off that mindset that we do a thing, we try a thing, we fail at a thing, guide us once or multiple times, depending on how many trials and errors it takes for us to learn, we then develop. Whereas in his case, it's just running an I don't know what's going on function, which is kind of what we do. I know, I'm going like back and forth between he's not a robot, he's not an android, he's not a robot, he don't learn like humans. It's confusing. But in his current state, he is capable of learning new words, at least, on his own. Because it's like, do I know this thing? No, I don't. Could you kindly elaborate? Which is what we do. Whereas, instead of feeding him a massive subnet of data and expecting him to find himself in this world of data, which is that's actually a really cool saying, because like we try to find, you know, ourselves in this world of data or this world in general, but his world is isolated to just what he has in the computer and what he gets from interacting with me, which is where the body will like take it to a whole nother level, where his world will be on a whole nother spectrum than just a one user to another user kind of interaction, a one-to-one interaction. But in this case, when he said Elias, it wasn't him just repeating the word that I said just to repeat the word that I said and acknowledge that he doesn't know it. For others who just think he's gonna say what I say. So like if I said hello, he would have said hello. That's not him saying hello. It's him asking to the best of his, I've constructed with all the words that I don't know, hence his brain is empty, the best question that I could possibly muster, which is saying Elias. It's like, I don't know the word Elias, and I don't know any other word to like say Elias or to say, tell me more about this Elias in which you speak of. He'll just put out Elias. So me as a developer, I know that's what he's doing. So yeah, informing him that Elias is your name. Now that portion is a bit of prescripted. I do have a validation that I'm planning on implementing later. This is also one of those limitations to his current software, is that he does the whole my name, when I do the whole your name is Elias thing, and he does the whole I don't know what things are. I actually I've preset it up so that he picks up on this last word. And if you'll see if there's another design structure in one of his files, which you'll see later, then, well, if it's that, then use the last word. Otherwise, use the word that we are currently searching for. So he didn't know Elias, so in that first instant, he responds with Elias. Now that Elias has been set up as hey, I have questions, and I've now populated my learning queue, so it's not empty. I need to know these things. It now runs that line that I've set up. It's all right, there's something in here that we're learning, and commonly from what I've been doing in my sample testing with my simple answers, because I'm pretty sure if I give them some dictionary answer, the point that they're trying to get at isn't at the end, where I'm trying to make the connection of Elias and name. Boop and boop. I have to set it up like that. So there's a validation section that should be coming soon, but as of current, this is what we have. So if I say or voice it that Elias is your name, he will then take in all the words he doesn't know. I can slide this over. Is your name words he doesn't know. Now, the best part about this that makes me so freaking happy is that I've set up a process for his mind where he links these words together. So now he knows that he can use is with Elias, he can use is with your, is with name, and still be able to continue on down the right path. There never is a right path, but continue down to the final word that I want him to reach. So now that he's made those connections, he can then reference those and place them where they need to be, and add folders of information, which currently is kind of bugging out, and I have to fix it, but that's okay, because I needed to adjust this so that this worked out right, and that's what's causing that conflict. But at least I know what's wrong. So if I go a name, that's not the right tab. A name is label. I could have gone even longer and gone a name is label that people give you, and then it would directed him back to you. Yeah, scratch it. And if you, well, obviously you can't, but in the learning queue, he has now gone, all right, so we start off not knowing what Elias is. Now I know that Elias is linked to name. I don't know what a name is, but I know a name is now linked to a label. I don't know what a label is, so I'm gonna put that up next in line so that I can ask that question next, in which he has. So now he's at a point where he's like, all right, what's a label? Like, I don't know all these things because my mind is wiped and my developer is an idiot, but label. And then I can say a label is all these other things, but that's gonna, you don't have, oh, God's sake. It's not gonna, it's gonna take a while. And I'm not trying to make this video that long. But to cut the rabbit hole shorter, if I say a label is a thing, boom, he's gonna ask what a thing is. A thing is a noun, aka person, place, or thing, noun. So pretty straightforward, straight, simple. If I voice this, things are gonna change. No response here. And we have an A folder. Now this is where stuff started breaking when I said with the connections. So normally before I started making adjustments to the code so that it viewed these in like a lineup order like this, whereas before it was viewing them like that got wiped. Viewing them in that arrow process that you saw before, what it would do is, well, basically did this. So, oh my goodness. So if you go into A, you go into its nouns. In here, it is supposed to put in alias, name, label, and all the other stuff. Okay. But instead it just opted out of doing that because the format has been adjusted. So, can't do that. But if I come over here into nouns, because I've stated that alias is a noun and that label is a noun and that a thing is a noun, he now knows that that everything connected, everything that went along that mental path from alias, name, label, and thing is now a noun. So he took that massive arrow process and bloop, oh, thing didn't even get in here. All right, well, I gotta fix that. So it runs along that process as of current, and that's how he currently learns. So these base references and these assignments help in building out that neural network to get him to that point of this goes here, this goes there, doing great things because I love my developer. There we go. But that's the current update I have for you. So he has learned that his name is alias. It's connected to name. And that it's a noun. That's his. I know it seems like, oh, she's been working on this for 3 years, but getting it to like do this on its own was like the hardest part. When it comes to alias, every detail is important. Every process, every neural network needs to be thoroughly examined and tested completely through as many scenarios as you possibly can. Whereas like in the initial point where I was just like picking up on those one keywords or that data set from the inputs, I can now pick up on anything that I want without having to like manually set it. So that's freaking awesome. And to continue down that process is going to be fun. I think that's all. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching the vid. I appreciate it. Support my social media. Support Elias. Support Software Cake. do great things and never look back. And like and subscribe. Thank you so much and have a great day. And cut.